This evening, Harden to the Cavaliers, yet another photo shot for the man with the biggest beard in the NBA. And as promised, right off the bat, senior NBA insider Shams Charania right here with us. Breaking news out of Cleveland is, in fact, that Harden is heading to Cleveland, out of LA, for a second rounder and Darius Garland. How do we get to this point, right, where we're finding James Harden in yet another NBA jersey?
So James Harden had a mutual option in his contract that allowed both sides here in the not guaranteed for James Harden. He had a small partial guarantee. And so both sides got to discussing what is next long-term, what happens next year with him. And James Harden came to the consensus that he wants to be in a win-now situation and in a longer-term future, wherever he's at. And next year was not promised for him, potentially with the Clippers and beyond. And those are the two criteria: win-now situation, competing for a championship, and a longer-term future. Both criteria he felt were there with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And so how could you find a beneficial path for James Harden to land that somewhere else, and for the Clippers to get that? And they get that with Darius Garland, who's 26 years old. James Harden is 36 years old. It's very rare where you have two prolific stars traded with a 10-year age gap, and the Clippers really feel Darius Garland allows them to be competitive now and well into the future. Yeah,
it's almost a win-win for both franchises in that case. Now, looking at James Harden in Cleveland, we shift the focus to fit. How is that going to work out, or what have you heard out of that area about what they're thinking that backcourt will wind up being?
You have to look at the relationship between James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. It's going to all start there, and where does that go? And I'm told both have already communicated and connected, and there seems to be an excitement level about this duo. You're talking about two high-powered elite guards. James Harden has played with a plethora of elite players and scorers throughout his NBA career. But everything in Cleveland is about winning and competing for a championship. We've seen it. That's the pressure. That's the motivation that Donovan Mitchell has brought since he's arrived in Cleveland. And think about what they've done this week. Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder come in from Sacramento. Now today, James Harden comes in. Everything they're doing is how can we build a championship contending team around Donovan Mitchell, and they feel like today they took a high-level step toward that direction.
Yeah, they're tired of falling short, quite frankly, and James Harden is obviously going to add to the hopeful lore of the Cleveland franchise. He is the first player in NBA history to change teams midseason multiple times as an NBA player. The Cavs hope he can help get them over that postseason hump, but deep playoff runs have not been Harden's forte as of late. In his last 13 seasons since he left OKC, Harden has appeared in just 2 conference finals and 0 NBA finals. It is unreal to see that this team is sort of continuing to work out the kinks and finding the roster construction that works for them. But this is only the beginning, Shams. We got to continue on with what else we have for you. James Harden, first player. Other trades that went down. We talked about the Detroit acquired sharpshooter Kevin Huerter in a 3-team deal that gets him to Minnesota. Bulls also sent Nikola Vucevic to Boston for Anthony Simons, and Memphis traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah on an 8-player deal. The rebuilding Grizz now have 12 first-round picks over the next 7 seasons. Jackson, a former Defensive Player of the Year, joins a Jazz team that allows the most points per game this season. So sticking with that last transaction, Shams, now that Jaren Jackson Jr. has been traded, what are we looking at as far as the likelihood of Giannis, of Ja Morant being part of the trade headlines coming up?
So Ja Morant is one of the biggest names that we've been talking about potentially trade-wise, right? And there's certainly a chance he could be moved between now and Thursday's trade deadline. I'm told the Grizzlies are fielding interest from multiple teams. And with this Jaren Jackson trade, not only have they now accumulated about a dozen first-round draft picks, they have as many first-round picks, second-round picks, and draft swaps as any team in the NBA, including Oklahoma City and Brooklyn, but also a $28.8 million trade player exception. And this now allows them, if they want, to take back some bad salary potentially with draft capital in a potential Ja Morant deal. So we'll see what that market looks like. But it's clear, Trev, they are moving toward a full rebuild in Memphis. Desmond Bane traded for 4 first-round picks last summer. Jaren Jackson Jr. 3. Now we'll see what happens with Ja Morant.
Now, speaking of inevitabilities, the man Giannis out there in Milwaukee, still there as of now. What's the likelihood of him moving at this point?
Listen, the entire league is waiting on Giannis. Whether he's going to be traded at this deadline or whether it's going to be in the offseason, Giannis, my understanding is he's prepared either way it goes. Whether it's now or in the summer, he is ready for an exit from Milwaukee. And so it's really on Bucks officials, ownership, sifting through the offers that they're going to get between now and Thursday. Will one reach the criteria that they've set with a blue chip talent as well as a surplus of draft picks? They have Miami, New York, Minnesota, Golden State, all with aggressive offers. There have been counter offers that have been made this week, but will an offer come and meet that criteria? Everyone in the NBA is waiting on this.
Yeah, you'll see if Giannis is down to go to wherever ends up coming up with the right capital. Shams, we appreciate it as always, brother. So let's dig into these trades with NBA analyst Iman Shumpert now here. Now, when you heard Shams drop the news that Harden was heading to Cleveland for Darius Garland in a second, what do you think of that fit as it stands?
Well, initially, it was just us previewing the thought. And when I previewed the thought, didn't like it. Now that it's happened and we're starting to weigh the positives and negatives, one thing that we can see is that James Harden makes his bigs better. With having Jared Allen out there, sometimes getting lost in the fold, Evan Mobley, who's one of those guys you want to turn his aggressiveness up, James Harden is the right guy for that. As far as Donovan Mitchell and his relationship, I think that the ball dominating, as long as they can figure that out, and they're going to have to figure it out quick if they want to make a push this year, the loss of DeAndre Hunter, I think, hurts their defense, and I never wanted to see that happen for the Cavs because the Cavs in previous years have hung their hat on the defensive end. And, you know, seeing James Harden come over there, I know it takes a hit, but right now we're just going to have to lean into his playoff experience, and hopefully he can clean up that turnover column in the later rounds in the playoffs. And
see if they can make it a track meet and win that thing offensively. We got a couple of games to holler at you about, Shump, so stand by for it, all right? Now, Detroit just got done beating the brakes off of Brooklyn on Sunday, hosted the Nuggets on Tuesday. Cade Cunningham entering the game with 24 point assist double-doubles this season. First quarter, he's getting his assist on. Jalen Durham with the dunk there, part of his 19-point, 13-board night. Pistons up 10. Second quarter now, Cunningham to the rack through a few defenders. Tough lay-in goes. Gets the hoop in the harm. Pistons up 7 after the made free throw. This time, Cunningham from the left wing. That's cash. 17, 7 assists in the first half. Pistons up by nearly a dub at halftime, but here come the Nuggets. In the fourth, Nikola Jokic, left wing 3. He had 24 and 15. That cuts the lead down to single digits. Under 7 minutes to play, Cunningham kicks it ahead. This time, Javonte Green throwing it down. Detroit back up 14. 3 minutes left in the fourth. Nuggets down 9. Then Christian Brown down low for the bucket. Nuggets down 7. Just over 2 minutes to play. Tobias Harris gets a shot blocked. Nuggets going to transition. Jamal Murray finds himself in the corner, cashes out on that 3 to make it a 2-point game. Next possession, Cunningham trying to put this bad boy away. Drive and kick left corner. Harris with the shooter's bounce gets him up even further. Pistons hold on to win it 124-121. So while that win was by no means a blowout, Shump, what does a dub like this one do to your expectations for the Pistons as a championship contender?
Well, I already had them as, you know, one of those teams that can push their way up the East, but they're at the top of the East. So when you start talking about a championship contender, anytime you can come out of there, you're always trying to, you know, test out the West Coast during these games to know what you're going to have to do if you ever start a playoff series with them. Now, I don't want the Detroit fans or the Detroit Pistons to get, you know, too excited about this matchup because those are not the reigning champions. But when you start talking about a championship caliber team, the Nuggets are that, and they should not leave these playoffs feeling like they can't get back here or they shouldn't be here. They should feel like they should be here. They play at their pace. They make everybody play at their pace, and they're a good basketball team. We should see the Pistons, you know, if not making a run at it this year or next year, like for the next 3-4 years, I don't think their team should change much.
Yeah, and after they added the shooter, Herter, like this just sort of extends their capabilities offensively. And, yeah, young core that can go. Got one more game for you. Let's talk about this Lakers team wrapping up an 8-game road trip this this one in Brooklyn, and LeBron and Luka were both showing out. First quarter, Lakers up 6. Doncic drive and kick out to James, and he's going to do a little something special. Behind the back to Marcus Smart, goes into the short corner, hits the float game. Lakers up 8. Next possession, Doncic with a behind-the-back look of his own to Jake LaRavia down low. So these two, Bron and Doncic, just trading, going bar for bar on the assist column early. Under 7 minutes left in the first. LeBron driving, spinning. The old man head fake gets him up in the air. And one goes. Lakers up 10 after he missed the free throw. Doncic in transition, step back, the trademark. That puts LA up 15. Early second, it's a 22-point game. Austin Reeves out on the break and just lay it off the glass for him. LeBron James still very much so capable of flight. The wristband on his right wrist, quite literally shattering with the force of the dunk. Los Angeles up 24 at this point. LeBron not done, no. Gets the steal, and it's the tomahawk. Right-handed, cocked that one back to LA. 25, 7 assists for Bron. And then later in the second quarter, Doncic with the handles, just toying with him. DeAndre Ayton on the finish. No second half highlights needed. So where we're going to wrap this up. 24, 6, and 5 for Doncic. Lakers go on to win. Now on the lowest of keys, this was the first time we saw since Christmas Day LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves on the floor at the same time, Shump. With this big three now getting healthy, what kind of postseason expectations are we comfortable placing on the Lake Show?
I don't have them going too far in the playoffs. It's just a tough Western Conference, and you know, Bron is 41. I'm excited for him. I think that it's all well and good. This is the Brooklyn Nets. You know, they fare well. I don't see them fare well. You know, of course, I'm going to have to adjust that statement because Reeves was hurt. But they're going to have to fare well against some, you know, higher caliber teams with some higher power scoring going on. They're a high scoring team, and they're guys that have been there before. They were just having a good time in New York. That's all I see from this game. Is it a lot of fun to watch? Yes, it's a lot of fun to watch, but I think that when we start talking about playoff basketball, they all know that they're going to have to look in the mirror and change things up a little bit. You know, come together a little bit, figure something out, hang their hats on the defensive end.
No question about that. And I know your Bears didn't quite make the Super Bowl, Shump, but look, we
still
still
you got to say it. I knew you was going to do it.
Listen, it's just love, dog. We transition into the Super Bowl next, man. Appreciate you.